So by my calculations, we're just past 11 a.m. local South Korea time. Some people woke up this morning in a free and democratic country. They went to bed last night in a free and democratic country, completely unaware that for a period of 2 hours and 48 minutes overnight, they lived in a de facto dictatorship. Overnight, the South Korean president, Yoon Seok-yeol, declared martial law, and he did so for political reasons that expose him to be fragile ego and somebody who does not deserve the trust and confidence of the Korean people, or to be at the apex of political power in that country. I talk about Korea a lot. It's a country I've lived in for years. It's a place that I call my second home. It's a place that I love. There are people there that I love. And this was a politically significant event that, would have caused a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. It's probably going to be economically disastrous at a time of high commercial activity. It's going to shake investor confidence. I wanted to come here and kind of tell a story that I don't think is going to be told. In order for me to do that, let's take a step back through history for a minute. The last time a South Korean president, or a South Korean dictator in this case, declared martial law was 44 years ago. And that led to one of the most significant losses of civilian life in that country's history, which today is commemorated by a statutory holiday. Today, or overnight, had the same risks. The declaration of martial law is an instrument that is that stifles free press, that suspends due process, that hinders the ability for people to assemble peacefully. It is meant to eliminate political activity in the country. Overnight, places of political significance across the capital were occupied by military forces. The National Assembly was barred from doing their work. It's politically significant as well that the actions of the South Korean legislature voted unanimously. I believe the vote was 190-0 to demand a withdrawal of this decree of martial law. And this was in large part thanks to the fighting spirit and the righteous fury of the Korean people. I have been on social media all day expressing my support to the Korean people. And I've listened to a number of different clips, news broadcasts, commentary. And over the next days and possibly even weeks, this is going to be analyzed and commented upon at length. But there's one story that's likely not going to be told, and that is of the people who were asked to enforce this decree. South Korea has a regime of compulsory military service. Now, I'm not an expert in this area, but I believe it's anybody between the ages of 18 to 29 are required by law to serve in the South Korean military. Just like many in South Korea last night who went to bed, woke up completely unaware of this happening, many service members were getting ready for bed when their commander-in-chief ordered them to wake up, to gear up, and to take up a tactical position in front of politically sensitive sites across the capital. These were sons and brothers asked to face off against their own people. They are duty bound to follow orders. And now we can discuss, these are illegal orders. These were unilateral orders. They were unconstitutional orders. They were shot down by the National Assembly when they forced their way into their own workplace. I get it. But the average 22-year-old in uniform is not a constitutional scholar. And when he gets orders, then he's duty bound to follow those orders. The reason I bring this up is because I have heard some clips of lawmakers, once again, in their righteous fury, hell-bent on prosecuting anyone who engaged in an abuse of power as a result of this illegal and unconstitutional decree. And I would urge lawmakers, I would urge law enforcement, the prosecution service, to start by looking at the political leadership that orchestrated this decree. And some reports suggest that it came from the president and the president alone. Without the advice or consent of cabinet, I would urge law enforcement officials in that country to recognize that these kids, these young men who were asked to take up these tactical positions in front of places like the National Assembly, in front of the Korean Constitutional Court, in front of the presidential office, to understand that these were young men who were following orders. As illegal or unconstitutional as they may be, they were duty bound to follow the orders of their commander-in-chief. So I would hope that there is some reasonableness in the natural outrage, in the expected fury of Korean citizens, of lawmakers, when they look at who is responsible for this illegal act, that what some are calling a coup d'etat, and recognize that blame should not be laid upon a 25-year-old who is serving his country because his country demands that service of him.